As we head into Super Bowl Sunday, on the NFL's biggest week of the year, 10 former players are suing the league, accusing the NFL of systematically denying benefits to players in need. In their complaint, the group alleges that doctors hired by the league, quote, aggressively, arbitrarily, and unscrupulously withheld disability benefits, stiffing even some players with serious head injuries. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, who's named in the suit, has dismissed those accusations. He says the claims were evaluated independently. Listen to this.
You're always going to have people who may think they qualify for it. Doctors disagree. The joint board disagrees. That's the way the system works. But I would tell you the benefits in the NFL are off the charts.
Joining us now to discuss the case, one of the players' attorneys, Christopher Seeger. Sir, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this. Your reaction to the commissioner's comments are what?
Those were his comments when we sued him for concussion injuries back in 2011, and it resulted in $1.5 billion settlement where the NFL is now compensating players for head injuries resulting from concussions. I think that's kind of his standard line. I don't think Roger Goodell really knows what goes on in the plan, frankly.
Wow. The suit is alleging that the NFL's benefit plan had an overly aggressive and disturbing pattern of unscrupulous tactics. What does that mean exactly?
Well, one quick example would be the fact that we've got a lot of evidence that claims are denied without the board members who vote on those claims even looking at medical records. We also found a statistical relationship between the amount of money doctors were paid in the plan and the number of denials. One example is a doctor who received well over $1 million in compensation had well over a 90% denial rate. And to give you one last example, which I think is really telling, is that in the concussion settlement that I led, players would get a diagnosis in the concussion settlement of early dementia or neurocognitive decline, bring that over to the plan and get denied.
Wow. So you are arguing that you have evidence that the NFL paid certain doctors, incentivizing them to reach certain medical conclusions. Is that right?
Yes, sir. To deny claims, to put a fine point on it. Yeah,
right.
They're paid to deny claims. We'll prove that. And just so you know, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is really important. This onion began being unpeeled by federal judges who started to look at individual cases. Some players started to sue in federal court. And there are opinions written by federal judges saying that this plan has breached its duty of loyalty and it needs to be really looked at. And that's what we're doing. So you said earlier that we filed on behalf of 10 players. No, we filed on behalf of all former players. It's a proposed class action.
That's right. You're essentially trying to amplify this case. I do want to read a statement given to CNN by a league spokesperson about the lawsuit. They write, quote, the NFLPA disability plan is fair and administered by a professional staff overseen by a board comprised of an equal number of appointees of the NFL Players Association and the league, which includes retired players. The board reviews the activities of the office and operation of the benefit program, including every contested application for benefits to ensure that retired players who are entitled to disability benefits receive them as intended. Your contention is that that's not the case and that that board is either negligent or corrupt.
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to put it. I might go with corruption at this point. It's just too many years. There's just too many years of a pattern of them denying claims. I mean, I started the concussion lawsuit because players were being screwed around, frankly, by the plan there, and it resulted in a settlement. Look, we're going to find out. We just filed this case in Baltimore in federal court. A judge has just been assigned to the case. We're going to get discovery. We're going to unpeel the onion and we're going to see what's there. And this wouldn't be the first time that the NFL's official statements didn't match up with the facts. And I fully expect that there. Frankly, we wouldn't have filed the case. Anyone in your audience just thinking about this, and that'll be the jury ultimately, right, is it likely that 95% of retired players, 92% of retired players are being turned down for knee injuries, spine injuries, neck injuries, head injuries? That wouldn't be, and this is a bargain for benefit, just so folks understand. Nobody's asking for a handout from these 32 billionaires. It was bargained for in the collective bargaining agreement. It's part of the deal. They put their bodies on the line, they put their health on the line, and now they're entitled to this, and they're being denied it. So the NFL can save money And we also know that there's over $9 billion sitting in this plan, and they're going to need to spend some of that.
So I read that one of the players you're representing had severe head injuries, at least 10 of them. It was a former player for the Jets, correct? What does this lawsuit represent, not only for him, but for other players who, as you noted, have put it all out there on the field and have suffered for it?
Look, I think it's going to give them some justice of what they're entitled to. I mean, try to imagine you being involved in it, whether you're a carpenter, a plumber, NFL player, and you've got union benefits, and when you go to use them, everybody's told no. We're all familiar with plans and insurance companies denying claims, but this is at a level that's highly suspicious of fraud and wrongdoing.
Christopher
So,
Seeger,
yeah,
we have to leave the conversation there today, but we would love to have you back on as the case develops.
happy to do it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, still ahead. I'm sure you had no idea. It's Super Bowl weekend. Hello. And tomorrow will be all about two things.